Hello. Today we're going to be talking about the Chartered Financial Analyst exam, the CFA exam. The CFA exam is set by CFA Institute, the Global Association of Investment Managers. They regard themselves as the guardians of ethical investment decision-making by its practitioners. All CFA charter holders should ensure that their investors' interests come first, capital markets function at their best, so that economies worldwide will grow. CFA Institute takes pride in trying to establish and set standards that the global investment community should follow. Now, the CFA program is one of the many programs that CFA Institute has. It's a graduate level program, and being a graduate level program, it's best that persons entering the program have an undergraduate bachelor's degree. The program will emphasize investment management and portfolio investment management and investment analysis. They will also ensure that you will be tested on a number of ethical standards related to professional investment management. Now, the CFA exam is quite popular. Over 220,000 candidates sat the exam last year, 2019. It's recognized highly by employers, by the media, and regulators. The CFA is, however, a challenging program. Now, it is important for candidates to ensure that they understand what the CFA program is about prior to entering into the program. So let me try to break it down for you. The CFA program is training you to become a professionally qualified investment portfolio management. It's going to validate your competency in all matters related to investment. It is set by industry practitioners worldwide. It's not a local exam, it is a global exam, so they're looking at the global practices. The CFA is awarded regardless of which university you went to or the type of degree that you obtained. What you need to do is pass this 3-level exam, and you will get the CFA charter once you fulfill certain experience requirements as well. I think Margaret Franklin, the current CEO of CFA Institute, says it best. It's an equal opportunity designation, the CFA charter, because it doesn't matter where you come from or which university you went to school. The CFA program is open to those who want to understand how to professionally manage investment portfolios, and do so in such a manner that ensure that there is the highest level of integrity and professional ethics by the practitioners who hold the designation CFA charter, who holds the CFA charter designation. So integrity, professionalism is very important within the CFA community. We hold live online classes from Kingston, Jamaica. We're part of the Kaplan-Schweizer network. The Kaplan-Schweizer is the world-leading CFA exam prep provider. They are also an approved prep provider by CFA Institute. Now, what we're going to be talking about in particular today will be the new computer-based testing that is now in effect for Level 1. In fact, it's going to start in February 2021, the first computer-based testing. So the CFA Institute has transitioned away from the pencil and paper approach for doing the CFA exam, Level 1, and we now have a computer-based testing. The computer-based testing will be done at what is called a prometric testing center. And you would have to schedule when you will sit the exam on certain dates. We will speak to that later. However, once you arrive at the prometric testing center on the appointed date, be prepared to spend the first 30 minutes undergoing a tutorial session on the computer, showing you how to navigate around the exam, a candidate pledge, and a brief survey. You're going to be tested in 2 papers. Each paper will be for 2 hours 15 minutes, which is 135 minutes. So you're going to have a paper 1 and also a paper 2, also for 135 minutes. Between each paper, there's an optional, but I think you should really take it, an optional break. So what it means is that the total test time is 4.5 hours, but when you factor in the optional break and the navigational tutorial that they will show you, be prepared to spend 5.5 hours at the exam Prometric Test Center. This is for the new computer-based testing. Now, before we go into what will be tested, just keep in mind, as I had said earlier, that the CFA program is a challenging program. Just looking at the 2019 syllabus, the curriculum, you'll see that it's over 51 pages. Within the curriculum, you're going to have to know how to describe certain items. You're going to have to know how to perform some calculations. I would say within level 1, there are over 100 types of formulas that you could need to understand. You're going to have to also interpret various aspects of the reading. So CFA Institute will set the assigned readings, and you're going to have to go through the readings following the learning commands that they have set out in their curriculum that all candidates will receive. It's a very enriching program. You will actually learn a lot in the CFA program. Our aim is to ensure that you can assimilate and perform well under the exam conditions. Now, in the CFA exam, there are 10 topics on the CFA curriculum, 10 topics that you need to understand. So let us go through in particular, because there are some major changes relating to these 10 topics. So let us go through and see in detail what it is that you need to understand about those topics. So the 10 topics are ethics, quantitative methods, economics, financial reporting and analysis, corporate finance, portfolio management, equity securities, fixed income securities, derivatives, and alternative investments, 10 topics. However, here is the first major change on the CFA exam. The topics ethics, quantitative methods, economics, and financial reporting and analysis will only appear in paper 1 of the exam. The topics corporate finance, portfolio management, equity securities, fixed income securities, derivatives, and alternative investments will only appear on paper 2 of the exam. This is a major change from the previous exams, because previous exams for level 1 would have these topics on both papers, all topics on both papers. So let us demark what will be on paper 1 and what will come on paper 2. So the second major change that you need to be aware of is that each paper will consist of 90 multiple choice questions, and each multiple choice question will have 3 answer choices. However, in another major change that you need to be aware of, within each paper, there will be 10 pre-test questions. Pre-test questions are questions that they have included on the exam but will not be marked. That's important. You will not know which questions are the pre-test questions. So essentially, you will be graded on only 80 of the multiple choice questions on each paper. 10 questions are pre-test questions. So in total, you have 180 multiple choice questions, but you're going to be tested or actually marked on just 160, with 20 being pre-test, okay? The third major change that all candidates should be aware of: CFA has classified quantitative methods, economics, and financial reporting as investment tools. They have similarly classified equity securities, fixed income securities, derivatives, and alternative investments as being investment assets. Now, what CFA Institute has announced for the new computer-based testing is that the questions within these categories will be given to candidates in a random fashion. So say you're in paper one, you could start off with a question in this area on economics. Then they'll give the next question being something on financial reporting and analysis. And then the third question being on quantitative methods. And then the fourth question being on financial reporting and analysis. It will come in a random order. This is a big change from previous exams. Similarly, on paper two, questions within the area of investment assets will be scrambled. They will be given to candidates on the computer-based testing in a random fashion. Previously, the exam, when it was paper-based, you would have a block of questions on equity securities, then that would be followed by a block of questions clearly demarked on fixed income securities, then another demarked section on derivatives. Now the questions will come in a haphazard manner. So these are the main three things that you need to understand about the exam. First, the content on each paper is going to be clearly limited to the topics that I've outlined. Second, that the multiple choice questions will involve pre-test questions. Remember, for each paper, you're going to be taking 135 minutes for each paper, 135 minutes for each paper. And then third, the major change that you need to be aware of is that the way in which the questions will flow can be random. So you need to be aware of all of these changes, particularly if you are a repeat candidate, or if it's the first time you're doing the CFA exam, you need to have a study pattern established as to what is it you're going to do for paper one, what is it that you're going to expect to do for paper two, so that you can study accordingly. Now, since we're talking about how to study for the new computer-based exams, let's go back to the presentation and talk about how the exams will be set. The exams actually now will be done over 4 periods per year. So we have 4 periods, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the computer-based testing. It actually starts in February 2021. The next sitting will be in May 2021, August 2021, and finally in November 2021. Now, you have to be very careful because CFA Institute has said that you cannot fail the February exam and then immediately try to resit in the next subsequent exam window, which is in May. If you happen to fail the CFA exam, unfortunately, what CFA Institute requires is that you have to wait for 6 months before you can resit or retest in a subsequent exam window. So if you sat the exam for the first time, the new computer-based testing in February 2021, the next date at which you can resit that exam in case you unfortunately fail would be in August 2021. If you sat in May and you are not successful at the May sitting, the next time you can resit is on the November 2021 sitting. So it's very important for you to understand, even though the exam results may come a little bit quicker, the exam results will not be known at the end of the exam. That is a departure. Some computerized testing, you know the exam results at the end. CFA Institute still will take some time to process the exam results, but the results will be known much faster. But it doesn't allow you to sit at the next subsequent window if you fail the exam. CFA Institute has already announced that the February exam window will be from the 23rd of February to the 1st of March. So this is a 7-day window. All exam windows will be a 7-day period over which you're going to select which date and at what time you will go to the Prometric Center to sit the exam. Now, because the date has been announced for the February window, essentially that means that you should start putting into gear or putting into motion your study plans from August if you really want to sit and pass the February 2021 exam. It takes around 7 to 8 months to be on top of all of the material in the CFA curriculum. You want to ensure that you're on top of the knowledge and you have tested your exam test taking strategy. You have practiced your exam test taking strategy. So that requires time. Certainly if you're thinking about the May exam window, I would suggest sometime in September or October for you to begin your study process. So your study process should actually determine the length of your study time period, 6 to 7 or 7 to 8 months, depending on your academic background. Depends on which date you want to sit the exam for. So you need to work backwards as such. Set the exam designated test taking window you want to sit at and count backwards 7 to 8 months. Give yourself more time. I always tell candidates, sometimes within the CFA, you realize it took more time than you originally envisioned. So the longer the study time period can be, certainly the better it will be for you. So we run the Caribbean's live online CFA exam prep. As I had said early on, we're part of the Kaplan-Schweizer network. We want to ensure that you share our passion and enthusiasm for wanting to learn and pass the CFA Level-1 exams. Our program and our tutors are committed to helping you get through this challenging exam. If you are interested in our program, you could send me an email at cfa.exam.tutor@gmail.com. We are committed to helping you understand what you need to know, regardless of your academic background, so that you can also be a CFA charter holder in a short period of time. Thank you and have a great day.